Annabelle, what can you tell us?
Yeah, well, Kathleen, so we know that there are going to be a series of congressional hearings happening across December to basically investigate what went wrong at FTX. So the next one coming up is going to be in the US House, and that is scheduled for December 13th, so next Tuesday. Now, in recent days, we've been hearing from members of the House Financial Services Committee, and they've been basically calling on Sam Bankman-Fried to attend this and to testify. One of them was the committee chair. This is Maxine Waters, and just in the last 90 minutes or so, we've actually heard a response to her tweet calling for Sam Bankman-Fried to attend. So Sam Bankman-Fried essentially saying that yes, he will appear, but he didn't exactly commit to the timeline that Maxine Waters sent out, which is of course for December 13 next week. But as Maxine alluded to in her tweet, the focus is basically on discovery here, what happened at FTX, Alameda, and where the companies went wrong. But as Sam Bankman-Fried says, he basically wants to be able to do the investigations himself before explaining to others.
Where are we at in terms of legislation?
Yeah, so there's basically a broad understanding that it's going to be fairly difficult for anything to pass when Congress is divided, but the pressure is certainly on to put more guardrails in place, and there does seem to be some bipartisan support as well for this to happen. So the Senate Banking Committee Chair, for instance, Sherrod Brown, he's just been on CNN on Sunday saying that him and his colleagues have been trying to get something passed. And then there's also Senator Pat Toomey, who is the top Republican on the Senate Banking Committee, and he's someone himself who has said that he bought into the hype, the craze, and that he was impressed by FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. But now he is saying that there is a small window of opportunity to get something passed by the end of the year. This would be attached to a spending bill, so it's not a broad sweeping change that's going to take place, but essentially it would have measures that would include a regulatory framework for stablecoins, clarity around the definition of a crypto broker, and then also a tax reporting exemption on crypto transactions that are under $50, and that means that they could be used for smaller purchases.
And what about the cleanup at FTX? One of its units possibly for sale?
Yeah, so this is Ledger X, which is basically the derivatives arm in the US. It was the only unit that was regulated by the CFTC, and it really was the cornerstone of Sam Bankman-Fried's efforts in Washington. Now, it is considered to be one of the most valuable assets associated with FTX, and it's basically really one of the very few solvent pieces that are left in the empire. So what we're hearing is from our sources is that this business unit is now for sale, and it's actually attracting some sizable interest. There are the big crypto giants like blockchain.com and Gemini, but we're told that at least 10 firms have expressed interest. How much exactly Ledger X would fetch for sale? Well, that is also unclear, though we know in a November 17 filing that it had assets of around $303 million in cash. But where exactly we're at, that's also unclear. We do understand that it's serious enough for some parties to have signed NDAs, Heidi.